Thank you for joining us today. I'm Rick Escover, and I'm here today to show you how to make your own cartridge overall length gauge in using your original brass and the bullet you choose to use in your rifle. Today we're using the 7mm Remington mag, and I have 3 different types of bullets that we're going to demonstrate. I hope you enjoy. Okay, what we have before us are 3 different bullets and 3 different types of shapes or configurations. So we have the Nosler partition, the 140 grain bullet, and you can see that it's a flat base bullet, this particular one, and its overall length is shorter than the 140 grain bullet right next to it, which was also made by Nosler in a ballistic tip bullet projectile. This one has a boat tail base, and it's a little bit different from the ogive to the tip of the bullet in shape compared to the partition. And then right next to that is a more sleek design bullet, more designed for long range bullet, and that's 145 grain, and that's made by Barnes. And you can see the difference in the boat tail configuration, the shape, compared to the Nosler. This has less drag to it, and the ogive of the bullet, between the ogive and the base here of the boat tail, the bearing surface is much shorter than the bearing surface, let's say, on the Nosler ballistic tip. These two on the left are a leaded bullet, lead core, and the bullet on the right is a lead-free bullet, all copper bullet. So copper is not as heavy by volume as lead, so that additionally is why the difference in length for the similar bullet weights. Another thing that's really important is to notice the difference in the overall length of the bullet, and as they're all similar in grains of weight, but the overall length of each individual bullet is different in overall length. And when you seat your bullet to the SAMI specs overall length, the cartridge overall length, there's going to be more bullet. This longer bullet is going to have more bullet into the cartridge, and it may require less powder in the cartridge to get the same pressure as this shorter bullet, for example, just because of the overall length seating depth. Not so much the bearing surface. However, the bearing surface, it changes how the pressures behave also on your pressure curve. So be mindful of the new lead-free bullet. Seats deeper into your cartridge, and you may have to lower your powder charge to match the bullet. Okay, what we're going to do is I have my full-length resizing die. We'll back the stem off so we're not decapping the primer on the original fired cartridge. So we'll back that off and run this resizing die into the press. And run it down, but this time all we're doing is we're making an overall length gauge. So we don't want to resize or full length resize the case. We want to apply minimum pressure to the case mouth. We're not resizing the whole neck of the cartridge. We're just, the very end of the neck is all we're resizing. 3 cartridges for the 7 mag right here. And the first step before putting them into the die is just make sure that we have lube on them. So let's resize this a little more. Run the die down, quarter turn at a time, until we have our shell stick in the case the way we want it. So I'll keep working on it, running it into the die. This may take several steps. Okay, I found the right amount of tension that I want to get on the cartridge right here. So I have this seated just perfectly right now. So you want it as far forward as you can make it, and we'll run it into the rifle. Remove any lube that you may have on the bullet, and the cartridge will clean and remove the lube as well. Now the next step is to make sure that we put a mark on the bullet so we know where we have seated the bullet, and we can go back to the exact spot where it stopped seating into the lands. So we take a felt marker and we just mark the bullet just like this, right in the area in which we're going to seat the bullet. And we don't need to go past the ogive. All we're trying to do is capture the area in which we seat the bullet. So if we do that, and then we seat the bullet, we'll know exactly where we were. You want to make sure that you just have a minimum tension, just enough to hold the bullet so it'll slide back and forth. Using a Mauser action, the easiest way to feed the bullet is hand feed it into the bolt, just like that. Come in from the breech, being careful not to seat the bullet. Carefully insert that in, like this. Push in the back, and then close your bolt. And remove. Carefully open the bolt. Hold your finger up here so the cartridge does not flip out. And what I'll have to do again is open the back end of the bolt and carefully pull it out. Like this. Now that we've made our overall length gauge, what we need to do is measure the length from the base of the cartridge to the very tip of the bullet with our calipers. We just run it like this and get the overall length without pushing the bullet back into the case, and we get our number and we write it down. We've now finished seating all our bullets into the rifle, into the lands, and before us are the different units of measure. So this right here is the cartridge overall length from the base of the bullet to the very tip of the bullet. So across here, as we go, the nozzler partition 3.405, and the ballistic tip is right here as 3.390, and then our Barnes bullet is 3.436. So you can see that there's differences in the overall length in the way it finds itself into the lands. So it's very important that each time you have a new projectile that you go through this process and create your own overall length gauge to keep on file for that particular bullet. Now below here is where I have used the bullet comparator and the different units of measure based on the ogive of the bullet. And those are the measures using the bullet comparator. And there's considerable amounts difference in the way those bullets are seated from the lands. So as you can see, no two bullets really sit into the lands identically. Marking the bullet gives you a good idea. When you pull the bullet away, you can see where that has been scratched right here. So right in this area, you can see where it's faintly removed the coloring or the ink that we have put onto the bullet. So you can see right here, as I remove the bullet, that it has scratched away the ink that we have put onto the bullet right here. So we know if we have to find where it was originally sitting into the lands, is we just push it back to that spot, and we have correctly adjusted the bullet. So it's just another way of reassurance in the finding of the lands and seating the bullet in case you remove it and the bullet actually has left its position. Again, thank you for joining my channel today. Please leave me feedback so I can better serve your needs in the future. Have a great day.